Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 20th of September now, it's 20 past 10 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There are quite a few very significant developments and news that I'd like to share with you for this moment. And I will start with Southern Caucasus region this time because yesterday Azerbaijani forces began to conduct counter-terrorist operation in direction of Nagorno-Karabakh. And by the way, this is a map of Southern Caucasus region. This is Azerbaijan here. It's Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia. And entire day and during the night, Azerbaijani forces were conducting these offensives, shelling Armenian positions all along the contact line. And I did share, of course, information about it on my Telegram channel. Many of you did probably see it, but if you are not subscribed yet, please do so, because I do updates on Telegram in real time, dozens of times a day about different topics. It's very helpful, very good addition to this main channel. You can see links under this video in description box or in the pinned comment. And well, seems like Azerbaijani forces are not stopping until they will establish full control over the Nagorno-Karabakh. I remind you that in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, Azerbaijan did conduct a large-scale military operation to establish control over the 7 regions of around Karabakh and over the Karabakh itself. That was under control of Armenian forces, and they did it quite successfully, Azerbaijani forces, because after that conflict, Baku did return control not just over these 7 regions that was previously held by Armenian forces, but also about half of Nagorno-Karabakh itself become under control of Azerbaijan, including Shusha, by the way, city, second biggest city, if I'm not mistaken, in Karabakh. Capital of Nagorno-Karabakh, this unrecognized republic, is Stepanakert, which is still controlled by Armenian community, local Armenian community. And well, as I said, seems like Baku is not stopping until they will establish full control over this region. And this topic is, of course, one of the major topics worldwide and in Russia also, and for Russian media. And well, I will share with you all the latest news that we have for this moment. We have TASS news agencies report about statements that President of Azerbaijan Aliyev did made, and according to him, Azerbaijani forces will stop if Armenian military formations in Nagorno-Karabakh will lay down arms. Yesterday, we did receive reports from Azerbaijan that Baku is also demanding not just Armenian militaries to lay down arms, but also this local government in Stepanakert to be dismissed, which definitely indicates that Baku is not stopping until they will establish full control over these regions. Evacuations have been held from many areas of Nagorno-Karabakh that is controlled, at least for now, by Armenian forces. Latest numbers that I see was 7,000 to 8,000 civilians did left this region, but I'm afraid we may see some humanitarian crisis in coming hours, even, because as Azerbaijani forces move forward, the thousands and thousands of more civilians will probably flee this region. And by the way, I will mention, if I made it today, 4 or 5 o'clock local time, Moscow time, I will have a live stream, and the main topic of this live stream will be exactly the Southern Caucasus region and situation in latest developments in that region. And hopefully you will participate in that live stream. I will of course share information about it on my Telegram and on community page on YouTube, but YouTube, I'm afraid YouTube will not send the notification to you, so Telegram is definitely a better way to keep in touch. But let's continue. Interfax is reporting that according to Ombudsman of Nagorno-Karabakh, for this moment, at least 27 civilians died, and more than 200 civilians are wounded as a result of this assault of Azerbaijani forces on settlements that are under control of Armenian units. Very tense situation. Also, RT is reporting that Armenia is asking US for support, not just US but also EU member states. In this particular information, we have statements from ambassador of Armenia, Edmond Marokyan, who did ask US to get involved in this situation and to force Azerbaijan to stop its military operation. I don't think it will work, but it's quite an indicator that in which way Armenia is looking. Current regime in Armenia, they are definitely looking towards Washington, towards US, and towards EU. And they did ask EU also for support. I don't think they will be able to stop Azerbaijan, but these steps from current regime in Yerevan definitely highlights that they are basically working for the West. They are assets of the Western so-called elites, especially Washington and secret services of US, and they are playing games. And this game, according to this game, if my reading is not mistaken, they want to force Russia out from Armenia and from Southern Caucasus, and they want US to take place of Russia, which is gonna be big geopolitical shift in this region, and it's not gonna be that easy. And this topic definitely will be discussed during my live stream today. But well, let's continue with some other news. RIA Novosti is reporting that citizens of Armenia in Yerevan did conducted demonstrations yesterday, and they demanded Pashinyan to step down, and same goes for Pashinyan's government. But I did saw some videos, by the way, and I did not see some extremely huge crowd, to be honest. I did not see a huge crowd, which definitely, to me at least, indicates that Pashinyan and his government, his policies to distance Armenia from Russia, to say no to Nagorno-Karabakh, to get closer to US, NATO, and the EU, are more popular in among Armenian citizens. I may be mistaken, but that's my impression. And that's why, after all, Pashinyan is time after time winning elections on scale of republic or local ones, Pashinyan and his party. And if a majority of Armenian citizens want this kind of development, then what you gonna do? All you can is respect their choice. You may be sure that they are mistaken and they basically are ruining future for themselves and for their country, but it's their choice. That's it, really. But anyway, there were some protests in Yerevan, because not everyone in Armenia is blind by propaganda. Many people do understand that current government is destroying Armenia and Armenian society, but I don't think they have enough force to really influence situation inside Armenia. Let's see how the situation develop. And by the way, to confirm my words, I will share with you this information, which is also reported by RIA Novosti, that quite a big crowd, by the way, gathered right next to Russian embassy in Yerevan yesterday, and they had slogans, quite anti-Russian, Russophobic slogans, and in Armenian media now, this narrative has been pushed that it's somehow Russia's fault, not Pashinyan's fault, but Russia's fault, that Azerbaijan is successfully establishing control over the Nagorno-Karabakh. Everything is Russia's fault, by the way. That's a narrative that these pro-Western regimes are pushing everywhere, man. And Armenia is not exception. There were very Russophobic statements made during this demonstration right next to Russian embassy. Embassy staff even made statement that it's difficult to work because of these disturbances by this anti-Russian crowd in Yerevan. And yesterday I did see some statements even that they are already demanding Russian military base to be removed from Armenia, and eventually I'm afraid that will happen. If Pashinyan will hold on to power, eventually Russian militaries will leave Armenia, and that will be beginning of the end of Armenia's state as it is. That's how I see it, because there will be no force left to protect Armenia. But anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Russian Foreign Ministry did call for a ceasefire in this region. This is diplomatic move, quite understandable and logical, but I don't think Azerbaijani forces will stop until they will establish full control over the Nagorno-Karabakh. And well, this is it when it comes to situation in this region. As I said, somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock, I will make a live stream, and we can discuss further and in more detail situation in Nagorno-Karabakh and between Azerbaijan and Armenia, between Armenia and Russia, or Armenia and the Western world. And I will of course also discuss situation in Georgia. But now let's talk about situation on the battlefield, on the Ukrainian battlefield, by the way. Well, during the previous night, Russian side yet again did conducted missile and drone strikes in direction of against military and logistical infrastructure of Zelensky's regime. And strikes were conducted in direction of Sumy, Chernigov, Kiev, Kharkov, Dnipropetrovsk, Poltava, Odessa, and several other regions. I guess during the day Russian Defense Ministry will share with public additional information, and of course I will share statements of Defense Ministry on my Telegram. Also, now let's go through some and by the way, when it comes to current situation on the front line itself, no significant changes, no breakthroughs from any one side. It's operational pause or deadlock. Nothing is happening right now that will influence situation on any one sector of this front in immediate future. The main hotspots, of course, are Zaporozhye and South Donetsk directions, Orekhov bridgehead mainly, where Ukrainian forces are continuing to send or accumulate additional troops, I guess, in hope of conduct a second wave of counteroffensive, and same happening in South Donetsk direction, but it's still questionable if Ukrainian side will be able to conduct this second wave of counteroffensive. As I said, nothing is happening on the front right now that will influence the situation in immediate future. So here, for example, RIA Novosti is reporting that some local level skirmishes, recon operations, artillery duels between the sides, and the constant drone wars. That's usual stuff that we see on daily basis. And here RIA Novosti is reporting that during the previous 24 hours, Ukrainian side did try to conduct this local scale reckoning force operation in Krasny Liman direction with units of 2 brigades. But Russian side did notice this movement of Ukrainian forces early on, and Russian artillery and frontline aviation did conducted strikes, and as a result of these strikes, units of this neo-Nazi Azov terrorist organization were destroyed, and they had at least 50 KIA during this fight. Also, RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian forces destroy a column of Ukrainian armored vehicles in Zaporozhye sector of the front line. As I mentioned, Ukrainian forces are sending more and more units in direction of Orekhov bridgehead, and one of their columns were spotted by Russian intelligence. And then artillery and frontline aviation did take care of that column, and the entire column was destroyed. I guess during the day we will see some video confirmation of destruction of that Ukrainian column. Also, quite interesting report on RIA Novosti, according to which Russian forces did repel at least 3 Ukrainian local scale offensive operations in Rabotina area. In Rabotina area, but yet again nothing insignificant scale. As I said, just local level skirmishes and recon operations. This is also interesting. RIA Novosti is reporting that according to announcement from Pentagon, Ukraine will receive Abrams main battle tanks in fairly short time. Previously I did report that according to several reports, Abrams tanks may be delivered to Kiev regime in September, and by the way, in mid-September, and today is 20. So I would not be surprised if first bunch of Abrams tanks already are in Ukraine. Because, well, if Lloyd Austin, head of Pentagon, is saying that Abrams will be delivered in fairly short time, I guess these tanks already are in Ukraine, because that's what is happening, isn't it? Whenever these Western so-called elites or capitals of Western states are making statements about deliveries of some weapons, those weapons already are in Ukraine. So I guess first bunch of Abrams tanks are in Ukraine already. And well, US did promise 31 Abrams MBTs to Kiev regime. What these tanks gonna do in the battlefield? I mean, they will burn as well as Leopard 2s burn and Challenger 2s. So definitely these tanks aren't gonna be some game changers or anything. In my understanding, Ukrainian side will experience significant difficulties to operate these tanks, Abrams tanks, because they are just extremely heavy, and first rain and these tanks would not be able to even move. And by the way, there are not that many bridges on that steppe area in Zaporozhye direction or South Donetsk direction, where these tanks can cross, which way these tanks can cross. There are some small bridges that may be destroyed if Abrams tanks even tries to cross it. But anyway, of course, no weapon delivered to Zelensky and his criminal associates can change inevitable outcome of this conflict, which is unquestionable victory of Russian Federation. That's it. RIA Novosti is reporting, by the way, that in Sochi, in Adler district, some tanks of diesel fuel caught fire. I did share on my Telegram footage of that right next to airport in Adler. And according to official statements, there are no casualties on the ground, and these fires have been extinguished. But some channels did report that it's quite possible that a drone strike was cause of this fire, although officially we have no confirmation that drone strike did occur in Adler. Also RT is reporting, by the way, that Polish leader makes a really threat to Ukraine. Lately we did see quite open confrontation, or beginning of the open confrontation between Eastern European states and current regime in Ukraine. And Poland, of course, is one of them. And the reason for current escalation is that, let me read for you several sentences. So, Polish President Andrzej Duda has said, Kyiv should not forget the crucial role Poland plays in Western military aid to Ukraine. The really threat came after cash-strapped Ukraine launched a legal action against Warsaw over Poland's embargo on imports of Ukrainian grain. It would be good for Ukraine to remember that it receives help from US and to remember that we are also the transit country to Ukraine, Duda told reporters on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York on Tuesday. Well, quite interesting development, by the way. No surprises for me, and I guess for anyone in our community, because I said many times before that when this conflict will end, entire Ukraine, with the exception of western regions, will become under control of Russia, and western Ukraine will become under control of Poland and some other NATO member states that are neighboring Ukraine. And to do so, of course, Poland at some point will need reasons to distance itself from current regime in Kyiv. And they have a perfect opportunity to do so right now with this row around grain and some agricultural produce, some other agricultural produce of Ukraine. And, well, quite strong statements are beginning to appear against Kyiv regime. And this will continue, by the way. And also Polish minister, this is in Kommersant newspaper's report, by the way, that further support of Ukraine from Poland depends on Polish society. On Polish society, by the way, was stated by Szymon Szynkowski Welsenk, who is minister of Poland in EU minister of Poland, по делам Европейского Союза. Yes, that seems like they have such a ministry of EU, to deal with EU. But whatever the name is of that ministry, well, we did see first time this kind of statement that support from Poland to Ukraine depends on Polish society and Polish society's desires. And by the way, I remind you that not everyone in Poland is happy with the rise of Ukrainian nationalism. Not everyone in Poland forgot what Ukrainian Nazis did to Polish people during the Second World War. And I guess majority of Polish society will prefer Warsaw to spend money on Poland, not on Kyiv regime, not on extremely corrupt Zelensky and his associates. So this is yet again warning. This is a warning and beginning of divide between Warsaw and Kyiv, and beginning of political level, beginning of the preparation of the ground for Polish involvement in this conflict. And as I said, by the way, many times before, I'm 100% sure that western regions of Ukraine will become under control of Poland and some other NATO member states that are bordering this failed state, Ukraine, including Hungary, by the way, including Romania, of course, and possibly Slovakia. But vast majority of territories of western Ukraine, including Lvov city, will become under Polish control, and we are clearly seeing preparation of the ground for such developments. Let's continue. And by the way, TASS news agency is reporting that Ukraine is threatening Poland with embargo now. Now is Kiev is threatening Poland with embargo on some agricultural produce of Polish farmers. Well, this stuff gonna be laughable for Warsaw, by the way. Ukrainian so-called leaders definitely lost touch with reality, and they are very mistaken if they think they can threaten Poland or any other neighbor they have. RIA Novosti is reporting that Patrushev, head of Russia's Security Council, did made a statement that in October, Putin and President of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and head of China, Xi Jinping, may conduct some negotiations, which is well, quite important stuff, because current development in the world definitely brings more meaning to closer ties and to better relationships between Russia and China, more importance, of course. And by the way, also TASS news agency is reporting that Shoigu, as I did reported on my Telegram, Shoigu is in Iran, by the way, and he had meeting with his Iranian colleague, and during this meeting some interesting statements were made about continuation of dialogue between the sides, a continuation of close relationships and partnership, and I'm quite sure during this visit probably one of the topics of discussion will be deliveries of Russian weapons to Iran and deliveries of some Iranian weapons to Russia. When it comes to Iranian weapons, first of all, it's drones, maybe ballistic missiles. When it comes to Russian weapons, first of all, it's going to be, of course, fighter jets, Su-30 and Su-35. Fighter jets, if you remember, I did report several weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, that Iran already did receive Yak 139 planes, Yak 139 planes from Russia, and those planes are used, those training planes are used to train pilots for Su-30 and Su-35. Exactly. So it's only a matter of time, and Iran will begin to receive its first bunch of Russian fighter jets, or maybe those fighter jets already, some fighter jets maybe already are in Iran, because there was such a report previously, isn't it? But let's continue. Interfax is reporting that Biden had a meeting with leaders of Central Asian republics, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. This meeting took place in New York. I'm not quite sure if Biden did understand with whom he was talking during that meeting, but what is important, people from administration of White House probably had some chat with leaders, with delegations of these countries, and they probably did try. Officially, topic of dialogue was energy security of the region, but in reality, I'm quite sure Washington did try to test the ground how easy it's gonna be to distance these states from China and Russia, especially from China, by the way, because main target for US is China, not Russia. But of course, if they can damage Russian interests, they will do so without a doubt, unquestionably. Let's see what results this increase in contacts between US and Central Asian republics will bring to the table. And by the way, RT is reporting that well, neolibs and crazy people in the West do have a new target. That they are now trying to cancel, and this is Russel Brand, by the way, this so-called neolibs and crazy so-called elites of the West. And probably all of you are familiar with this person and allegation that was made against him. He was dropped from several. He was dropped by YouTube, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. His channel was monetized or even deleted. I did not check, but maybe YouTube even deleted his channel. I would not be surprised. So I guess Rumble will have a new creator with a huge following. And well, allegations are very serious, by the way, against Russel Brand. But question is, will we believe in this allegation when we know perfectly well that exactly these type of actions have been used by Western so-called elites, those crazy, sick individuals, to blackmail people that they don't like, including, by the way, Julian Assange, and not just him, by the way. So can you believe anything nowadays that comes from mainstream media of the Western states or Western so-called elites? No, man. I refuse to believe even for a second to anything that they say. That's my take, by the way, on it. And let's continue. How long is this video? 32 minutes. Okay, let's continue. So RT is reporting that global growth forecast is slashed by experts. So, well, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, in short OECD, previously had forecast for world's economy's growth in this in 2024 about 3%, but they did slash this forecast, and they are predicting now that in 2024 world economy will grow only 2.7%, which is well, not good, of course, for world and world economy. And this number, of course, has something to do with this sanctions war that Western elites, so-called elites, are conducting against Russia, and of course also significant influence has Chinese economy that is not growing as much as was predicted previously. But it's still growth. It's still, you know, world economy is growing, so nothing too catastrophic, I will say. And also RT is reporting, by the way, that well, US national debt reached a new landmark, $33 trillion, by the way, which is wow. Just wow, you know. US has a $33 trillion national debt, by the way. Unbelievable number. Even though US is number one economy in the world, by the way, 33 trillion is something out of this world. I don't know how they're gonna pay back, man. I just don't know. And eventually, because these neocons and neolibs don't really care about ordinary citizens of US, eventually they may really bring down entire economy of US if they will continue to print dollars like crazy, and if they continue to borrow money from all around the world, because one day they will end up in a situation when they cannot service their debt, and they will be forced to default, which will of course devastate US economy and will devastate world's economy, by the way. But what you gonna do, man? RT is reporting also that Germans are facing higher gas bills, and this is reported by Bloomberg. And main reason is that well, the value added tax on natural gas was cut from 19% to 7% previously, but now Berlin is planning to restore this 19% tax, and which will of course influence overall tax bills of ordinary Germans. I don't know, man. Germany's government is, I mean, truly something special, man. One may think that their main task is to destroy Germany. From outside, it definitely looks like the main task, excuse me, is to destroy Germany's economy and Germany as a state. I don't know. But this is definitely not good news for citizens of Germany, for Germans' economy, which is already are struggling, by the way, and if not in recession, then are close to end up in recession. And we did see many reports that manufacturing plants began to shut down in Germany or being moved outside of Germany, exactly because of this extremely high cost of energy. And this is it for today's update. Plenty of news, by the way, but update is quite short, 37-38 minutes, which is good. Hopefully you will find this update interesting, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. More likes and comments definitely, in my understanding, by the way, probably, not definitely, but probably will influence YouTube's algorithm, and they will give me a better chance to reach wider audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. And if you think this channel is this project with several channels is interesting and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Before I go, let me remind you that today I will have a live stream somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock Moscow time, and please check my Telegram page. I will of course leave a notice about live stream on my Telegram and on community page also, but I don't think YouTube will inform you about it. YouTube probably sends notifications just to 1% of members of our community. But anyway, this is it for now. Have a great day and take care.